Hello everyone. We're going to take a trip to the Mediterranean today. So Mediterranean diet is one of the healthy eating patterns that we as dietitians recommend. This recipe that I've located is pretty fun in that there's obviously lots of colors, veggie packed. It is a vegetarian option. There's quite a bit of preparation. As you can see, I went ahead and chopped the spinach and drained and rinsed a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas, and then used my chopper for some sun-dried tomatoes. So again, lots of color, which is perfect for what we like to encourage for our healthy eating lifestyle. And we're going to also make this a little quicker too, because instead of baking the peppers to get them softened, we're going to actually microwave them and steam them. So then we'll go back and stuff it with some really tasty ingredients. 4 peppers, cut them in half through the stem, which isn't that hard, but you do want a nice sharp knife, so just keep that in mind. Then in the inside, I just took a small knife, just a paring knife, and very carefully, because sometimes the stem is pretty tough, cut across the top to remove the seed pod, and then removed the white membrane inside as well. So that's what I have here. So to this I'm going to add some water, and then we'll put it in the microwave for 7 to 9 minutes until they start to soften up. In preparation for the next step, if you're reading the recipe that'll be attached, the orzo, I already cooked the orzo so that I could just move right along with the other part of the stuffing. So you can, I guess, disregard that. Anyway, we'll move on to our next step. While our peppers are in the microwave, I'm going to move on to mashing up the chickpeas. I want them to have a little bit of a creamy texture, but not be completely mashed. Okay, now that the chickpeas are kind of half mashed, I'm going to move over to the stovetop to where I have some oil going in the pan on medium heat. I'm going to add my onion and get them to soften. Now that the onions have softened, I'm going to add in the spinach and the oregano. And the spinach should be wilted, so about 1 minute. So now that the spinach is wilted, we'll go ahead and add in the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to add in about 1/2 cup of feta, crumbled up. And feta is a soft cheese that you don't typically want to consume if you are high risk. You don't want to consume it uncooked if you're high risk for getting illness, like pregnant women are usually advised to avoid feta. However, this one is made with pasteurized milk, so it's not as concerning. If it were an unpasteurized feta, then you would want to avoid eating it raw. We are cooking this, so that should be perfectly fine for everybody to eat. There, at the end of the recipe, it does say to top them with the remaining feta cheese. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, or your cheese is unpasteurized, then that's perfectly fine to just add all of it in and cook it. Okay, next we'll add in our garbanzo beans. Kind of a mouthful sometimes. Quarter teaspoon of salt. That's just kosher salt. And then a tablespoon of our red wine vinegar. I'm going to transfer these peppers out of the pan that I microwaved them in onto the platter, just since there's still a little bit of water in the pan. We'll put our filling in here and we'll be almost finished. Now I like these spatulas because they are really easy to use and they won't damage your pans. So that's what I'm going to use to just stuff these peppers. Fit perfectly. So now for the final step. And you can buy the pre-crumbled feta cheese if that's what your preference is. And again, you can also leave this off. Perfect.